Welcome to Being Extra. My name is Jorge Gonzalez, and today we're going to talk about the movie Palm Springs, a Hulu original movie. So, this is a Hulu original movie, which that's awesome to hear. We're usually hearing Amazon Prime original, Apple Plus original, Disney Plus original, and the big one, Netflix original. Hulu original, they do have original content, of course. Hulu original movies, not so much. Not as much as they should. They are making a lot of original shows, but not a lot of original movies. So it's nice to see something like this, which I really enjoyed. So, before I get to talk about the movie, I want to tell you guys that I gave this movie a 92% score. On my last video, I talked to you guys about how I score movies, how I wouldn't score anything lower than 40 because I know the effort it takes behind the cameras to make a movie. The rest is based on storytelling, directing, acting, even lighting, effects, stuff like that. So I gave this movie a 92%. Very funny, very compassionate, it has a great message behind it. Just it had a little few things here and there that, they weren't my favorite, but it didn't take much away from the movie, so 92%. Alright guys, so this is a spoiler review, so you've been warned. If you have not seen the movie, go on Hulu, watch it. If you don't have Hulu, ask a friend. If you don't have a friend, pirate it. No, I'm just joking. Don't pirate movies. That's the industry I work in. But please watch it. Great movie. I recommend it. So watch it before you watch this review. So here we go. So this movie stars Andy Samberg, Kristen Milioti, and one of my favorites, J.K. Simmons, and many more, but I'm just going to focus on pretty much on those three. So let's talk about the synopsis. Stuck in a time loop, two wedding guests develop a budding romance while living the same day over and over again. Nice, sweet, and to the point. My first initial thoughts was, oh, it's going to be another Groundhog Day. This is going to be your typical stuck in the same situation and you have to be a good person to get out of it. But they dismissed that pretty quick. If you've seen the movie, you know they dismissed that idea that you have to be a good person to get out of the time loop pretty quick. It's not a mystical, it's not a magical, it's not a find yourself, not to be a Scrooge anymore, to be a better person. It's nothing like that, and I love that. I'm like, here we go. No, it totally surprised me, which I love that. So, some things that I like about the movie is how funny but serious it was. I thought it was just going to be another wacky comedy, another Andy Samberg being a little bit outrageous, kind of campy comedy, but it did have those feels, but it was very serious at times, especially when he starts falling in love with Sarah, which is Kristen's character. So I thought that was very sweet, very nice, the way that he fell in love with her, even though he knew he had hooked up with her before. So I'm going to kind of go through the movie and tell you guys the things that I did like. So when the movie starts, it starts Andy Samberg in another time loop day. We do not know how long he has been in the time loop. It's not implied. They never say how long he's been in the time loop. We just know he wakes up to another day. He knows what's going to happen. He knows what he has to do. He has a plan to hook up with somebody. And tonight it's going to be Sarah because he already has a plan. He knows what everybody likes. He knows how he's going to hook up and the right things to say to hook up with the right people. So he wakes up. He sees his girlfriend. And I'm just going to skip to a wedding because this is where we know he's been in the time loop for a while. We see him imitate everyone's dance moves. He goes through the dance floor like it's nothing. He knows where everybody's going to be at, what position, which way they're going to move their head, their body, the way he dances. He follows the guy like this, does the same thing, and it's awesome. Sorry for those crappy dance moves. So I thought that was very cool because we don't have to see Andy Samberg go through a time loop thing, him getting freaked out, him finding out why he's in the time loop, what's he doing in the time loop. He's already in it. I love that. I love that aspect of it. He's already in the time loop. There's nothing that, that he thinks that can happen. Just live in the moment, live in the time loop, live with no consequences, which is Andy Samberg or Niles is living at the moment. So instead of focusing on Niles, we focus more on Sarah, played by Kristen Milioti, which she stole the show. Amazing, amazing acting. She stole the show. She did an awesome job in this movie. She was my favorite character in this movie. Everybody was great, but she just took it to like that extra level of like, I'm stuck in a time loop, but I'm freaking out, but I'm gonna enjoy it. But I need to figure out to get a way out of this. It was something like that. So because we focus on Sarah, there's one more person that's stuck in the time loop with them, and it's Roy. So one of the things I really enjoyed about this movie is that more than one person is stuck in the time loop. It's not one person in a time loop going through the same day over and over again, trying to figure out how to get out of it, trying to figure out what he has to do, finding out he's a nicer person. No. It's 3 people that we know of. There might be more people in the time loop because there's a cave in the middle of the desert that anybody could wander to. But we focus on, 3 people. Niles, Sarah, and Roy. Roy played by Jackie Simmons, which awesome character, just like this, like mean, pissed off guy because he's stuck in the time loop. But I love that they had 3 different people living in the same situation, so they know, but the people around them don't know that they're in a time loop, of course. So that's the reason why I love Roy. Roy is a guy who he was invited to a wedding like everyone else. And he has a pretty fun night of doing drugs with Niles, Andy Samberg. And he says, I wish I could live here forever. And they are so fucking faded. They're like so out of their minds that they're like, Niles is like, you know what? I can help you with that. I can help you live here forever. Takes him to the time loop cave, mystical. I'm just going to call it the time loop cave. And, and he gets Roy stuck in a time loop. Now, one thing, and this is, we find out later that Roy is, he woke up in a different part of town, like further away, so he doesn't come every day. But every time he comes into the wedding is to torture Niles because he's so pissed at him. He hates him so much. He tortures her, he kills him however he can. And Niles said, death won't do anything. Death will just bring us back to the same place where we woke up. But pain is very real, so it's better to die a quick death than a slow one at the ICU, because it's happened to him before. He's died a slow death in the ICU. I'm pretty sure mostly from Roy, or him trying to kill himself, a couple suicidal attempts, which he knows because he tells Sarah, killing yourself is not going to work, because when Sarah pretty much is finding out about the time loop, like anyone's reaction, she will be freaking out, and she does freak out, and she's like, I need to get out of this. She drives to Texas to try to be over there. She wakes back up in Palm Springs. It doesn't work. And she tries to cure herself with Andy Samberg, with Niles. It doesn't work. And he's just like, it's better to have a quick death than a slow one. So he tells her, there's no point, just enjoy it. You're stuck in this with me. You're stuck in this. Enjoy it, have fun with it. And they start having fun with it. But then, Roy is still pissed. Roy is still pissed, but we'll get back to him later. Now, Sarah and Niles are just like having fun. She's like, you know what, fuck it. So they start having fun. They start doing things differently at the wedding. One of my favorite scenes was when they put a bomb in the cake. Just like, I don't know where they keep getting C4 from. I think the guy where they go to the shooting range of. And he's like, there's a bomb in the cake, and he like shoots it into the air. It's amazing. I love that. I love how much fun they're having together. Obviously, it's pretty much implied that they're falling in love. We know they fall in love. Another one of my favorite scenes is when they do the musical number in the bar, and people are like, what the hell? Let's just let them do it. They just start doing like this 80s dance in the bar, all synchronized. This choreography is amazing. It's fun. They walk in, they do it, walk out like nothing happened, and to other people it's a normal day, so seeing that is weird, but to them it's like, okay, it's just another day, no consequences. So I think before I get more into the movie, I think that's one of the big messages here. Is like what it's like living with no consequences, because that's how Andy Samberg or Niles is living, no consequences at all. But obviously, for Sarah and Roy, there are very big consequences. So this is when we get back to Roy, because he eventually visits Roy, and he sees that where Roy wakes up is his beautiful home with his beautiful wife, his 2 children that he loves. So yeah, there's one upside. He's always gonna be with them. He's always gonna wake up with them. He's always gonna have his little girl, his little boy, his wife at like stuck at that age. But then he said, I'm never gonna see my girl grow up. I'm never gonna walk my little girl down the aisle, my boy. You know, things, he's never gonna see them grow up. And so, okay, he's living with no consequences. He can do drugs, he can do whatever, he can cheat. He's gonna wake up to a new day, both Niles and Roy, but Roy does not want that. Niles, it's been so long for him that he even starts forgetting what he used to work in, like things from his past, because so that implies he's been there for a while. So now how am I gonna say this? the physics of this movie are very weird, but it's better not to get into it. It's better to turn your brain off and to not get into the physics of the movie, because Roy has been stuck in the time loop so many times that he got Sarah from one of the different time loops involved with him. So how many different Sarahs are there? So I'm not gonna get into that because that's not the important part of the movie, but you know, it just makes you think a little bit. But just wanted to get into that because, you know, there's always those questions, but since it's a movie, I'm just gonna skip it and go past it. So once Sarah and Niles hook up, pretty much, she wakes up the next morning, like every day that she's been waking up for, like, I'm gonna say weeks. And we find out that she slept with her sister's fiance or husband, and she feels like shit. She feels like crap, and that's why she hates waking up there. That's why she needs to get out of there, because of the bad decision she made. She already had problems with her family, which she talked about. But she feels like crap because she is waking up every day knowing that she slept with them. So that's the scene where we find out that Niles is in love and they're driving down, like, you know, and then Niles is smiling like, oh, last night was great. It was so good. Was it good for you? And she's like, oh, yeah, it was fun. And he's like, really? It doesn't seem like it. And then we see Roy again. And this is another awesome scene where Roy comes out of the police car to torture once again Niles, and he pretty much tases Roy tases Niles, which is funny, but then Sarah crashes the police car into Roy, just like hitting him, giving him a taste of his own medicine, making him feel the pain, which was awesome. I did not expect that at all, and I love that so much. And yeah, there's no consequences, but he still feels the pain. And Roy told, you know, Sarah, like, you know, pain is real. You can't do that. And this is pretty much when Sarah was like, okay, you know what? I need to get out of here. I can't keep living this. Because also Niles tells her that, hey, I lied to you. We have hooked up many, many times. I guess she was his hookup of choice, so to say. But he didn't want to say that to her because he got her stuck in the time loop, so he didn't want her to think, oh, you know, I've done this a million times to you, but you've never followed me to the cave before. But since this time Roy was involved, he was put into the equation. She followed him to the cave because she thought he was dying. And he told her, you know what, we've hooked up a lot of times. Saving you from making a speech pretty much does it. So from when the movie starts, he already knew what he was doing. Making the speech, trying to hook up with her. He already knew what he was doing, and we kind of see that because, you know, in the dance floor, he's like looking for her, looking after her. He intrigues her. He knows what she likes. He knows what she's like. So she pretty much runs away every morning. And okay, now I'm gonna get to one of my favorite things about this movie, and I love this so much, is that it's kind of like a Rashomon, where we see things from people's perspective. So we see things from Roy's perspective when he got in the time loop. And we see things from Sarah's perspective when she got in the time loop. And we see how Niall's day starts, and we see how Sarah's day starts, and why she keeps running away, why she keeps leaving every morning out of Palm Springs, out of the wedding, because she wants to get out. Physics, or whatever you want to call it. She starts learning about, like this time warp, time cave. She starts learning, and she has all the time in the world. She's not aging. She's not dying. Nothing's happening. She has all the time in the world to pretty much learn about this cave, which I believe she does. And I'm going to say a few, a lot of months pass. I'm going to say months, because we just see Andy Samberg wake up every day, looking for her everywhere. But it's not implied how much time passes, it makes it seem like a couple of days, but I'm going to say it was a couple of months, because she learned a lot. She talked with a lot of professors, she talked with a lot of people, and she pretty much finds out a way to get out of the time loop. So I'll get back to that. But again, that's one of my favorite, I'm going to say like Rashomon. It's what I can think of. That movie where we see things from everybody's perspective, which is awesome. Also like Vantage Point, which, inspired by Rashomon. But I love that we see, Niall's morning, we see her morning, we see where she went, we see where he went. And I think that is so cool. Now, very important thing, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit, not to get off track, but there's a part in the movie where they're doing the night they slept together officially, with consent, I guess. They do, I think, shrooms, I believe, or acid, and they see dinosaurs. So they see dinosaurs, they're on drugs. So I'm going to get back to the dinosaurs. I said that for a good reason. So we get back to Sarah, who pretty much finds out how to get out of the time cave. And she tests it on the go. She pretty much runs all these tests, talks to like university professors about the subject. So she finally wakes up Niles. Instead of his girlfriend that cheats on him one time, which wasn't really important, so that's why I never mentioned it. She wakes him up and she tells him what she's been through, what she's been doing. Niles finds out that, she slept with him. That's why she felt like crap, because of the scent of her perfume that only she had. And he's slept with her multiple times, so he knows what that perfume smells like, and he smells it on the pillow of of the husband, the guy that's getting married. So so Sarah finally wakes him up. She talks to him. She tells him that she found a way to do it. And she's like, I'm asking you to come with me. We have to try. We have to get out of this. And then Niles is pretty much saying, well, no, I want you to stay. I want you to stay with me. I want to stay here with you. And she said, no, I can't. I have to get out of this. We have to get out of this. So it comes back to the message of eternity. There's really no eternity. We have to live with consequences. We have to live with what happens in the world. And she doesn't want to live with the fact that she slept with her sister's husband day after day after day. So this movie talks a lot about immortality. And like I said, you cannot live without consequences, good or bad, Roy wants to see his children grow up. Sarah wants to get out of the time loop where she's sleeping with her sister's husband. And Niles, he just forgot about his life. He forgot about, his loved ones, his life, his job, his career. He doesn't care anymore. He feels like he's just destined to live life with no consequences, just going on and going on. Now, that's a nice message, because we can't live like that. It's impossible. We know that. But he knows he fell in love with her. He fell completely in love with her. And he knows that she is going to choose to leave. And one of the things I love about this movie, for everybody who's seen it, is that the way that the movie starts, and like I said, the sister, Sarah, does not want to make the wedding speech for her sister, She's the maid of honor. She does not want to make the speech. But the last night before she leaves, she makes the speech. And she talks to her sister, gives her a heart-to-heart. All the words, the speech is from her heart. And she tells her husband, do not fuck this up. She puts the microphone down, do not fuck this up. And it's awesome, because she doesn't need saving anymore. She's saving herself. She's taking care of things. this, she's not gonna live with the consequences anymore. She's taking action. So I thought that was really cool. That was really nice. Pretty much Andy Samberg, Niles, figures out that he rather have a life full of consequences, but trying to make it work with her, than being alone again, pretty much with Roy, or alone in the time loop without her. So he pretty much tells her that, says the worst like grammatical sentence ever, and tells her, I rather die trying than to be alone here with you in the time loop. So again, I will not explain the physics. I can't explain the physics. They go in the time cave, blow themselves up. We see them in the pool of the safe house, of the house that Andy Samberg or Niles found alone. And they're just floating. So that's how the day starts usually for Niles. Him floating in the pool and the big pizza floating thing. So we're like, crap, it didn't work. They're back in the same day. And then she says, what now? And he's like, I gotta pick up my dog. Like, oh, pick up your dog. That means they made it. They made it to the next day. A different dimension, same dimension, who knows. But they made it to November 10th. Now, this is the part, I call it the inception part. This is the inception part. This is the top spinning, and we don't know if it's gonna fall or not. The camera pans up at the desert of Palm Springs, and we see the dinosaurs. The same dinosaurs they saw when they were on drugs. Now, were they on drugs at the time? Are they in a different dimension? We don't know. It's a very open ending. So, very cool. Loved it very much. I gave it a 92 out of 100. Very heartwarming story. Awesome message behind it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. I'll watch it again. I'll probably find more little details as I go along. But I just wanted to make this review now while it's fresh, while it's still in my mind. But I really enjoyed it. 92%. Awesome movie. Totally recommend it. Turn that dial up to 10 because it's awesome. But let me know what you guys thought about the movie. And please don't forget to follow us on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Thank you guys.